guys, this is the Cool Kid here. Welcome back to another video. Today we'll be looking at a deck that made it all the way to the finals of the US National Championships. This deck was made by Enrique Avila, and it's obvious this guy has a great mind for making Pokemon decks. Because this deck is something really unexpected and took everyone by storm, literally. The deck is Wailord EX Suicune. Now this is what the whole objective of the deck is. You have two very tanky Pokemon. You have Suicune that cannot be damaged from any EX Pokemon, and Wailord EX has a max of 250 HP. So you have two great tanky Pokemon. Now, the thing with this deck is, you're trying to be a indestructible wall, and you never actually attack with this deck. You never take any prizes. The only way you can win is by taking out your opponent. And the finalist said himself that he feels this deck performs really well in a best of 3 series, as it can take a long time to deck your opponent out in the game, in the first game, and time often runs out in game 2, so it secures a win in your favor. So that's basically how he made it to 2nd place of Nationals, using this deck to mill an opponent out and making time run out in the 2nd game to secure a victory for himself. So we already talked about Wailord EX and Suicune and how they're tanky Pokemon. Let's look at all the cards that really just helped these pair of Pokemon just work really well. First of all, we have Cassius, AZ, and Max Potion. Now, the thing about these cards is that they're all recovery cards. You can use Cassius and AZ to pick up your Pokemon, basically healing them completely. And you have Max Potion, which is great because you never attach any energy because you don't ever attack. This deck actually has 0 energy. So Max Potion is great, it just heals your Pokemon fully. AZ and Cassius takes them out of the game, but you can easily just put them back in the game and they're completely healed. So there's really no downside to it. And with Versus Seeker and Dowsing Machine, you can use these trainers many times. So that's just an unstoppable, well, maybe not unstoppable, that's just a very powerful combination of trainer cards that really work very well in this type of deck, because you're not attacking at all and you just want to keep healing and healing, and that just helps you a lot and just makes you even more tanky. The next set of cards are meant for destructing your opponent with Team Flare Grunt, Xerosic, and Enhanced Hammer. All of these cards are meant to go and get rid of energy on your opponent's Pokemon. And as we've seen in Seismitoad EX in the past, one of the best ways to really stay alive is to prevent the opponent from attacking you. And using Team Flare Gun, Xerosic, and Enhanced Hammer, you can get rid of the energies. And being able to use these cards multiple times a game due to things like Dowsing Machine and Versus Seeker again, you really are disrupting the flow of your opponent's deck, because they can't attach energy. It's going to be really hard for them to really execute an attack. And one really surprising card that really took everyone by storm again was Hugh. Now, Hugh really never saw any competitive play, but he says that it's a very important card in this deck. Basically, the main aim of Hugh was to really just go and make your opponent discard some important resources. Let's your opponent has 10 cards because they just used the Colress. You're gonna have a few things benched because you want some support with Suicune and Wailord. You want multiple of those. So yeah, with Hugh, what you do is you use it whenever your opponent actually has a big hand. So let's say they have a hand of 10 because, as I said, Colress. You can use Hughes and turn that hand of 10 into 5, which that's really destructive, especially if that hand has a lot of powerful resources. It's gonna make them discard powerful resources, and that's where Hugh was really played in this type of deck, and it was actually pretty well done. Whenever you played it, it was well executed, and it was actually a pretty good card. Now the next card is mainly meant for recovery and tank, and to be even more tanky. First of all, you have Hard Charm. It was mainly used on Wailord EX to make 2 hit KOs into 3 hit KOs, and then Rough Seas is just made so you can recover your HP every single turn. 30 HP is just awesome. Just being able to recover 30 HP every single turn, which is awesome, especially when you have the Hard Charm and you have things like Max Potion and AZ, Cassius, and you have the Wailord EX that's 250 HP. These are all factors that just make this guy a big tank. And of course we have Sacred Ash and Pokemon Fan Club. This is interesting. Basically he used Pokemon Fan Club just so he can get, you know, some of the tanky Pokemon in the early game, because you want to have a good setup in the early game. So, you know, you got some Wailord EX and Suicune, so yeah, just get that. And Sacred Ash is just in case if you have to discard some of your Pokemon or they just actually got knocked out, so you want to bring them back. And a little tech he put in was Silent Lab, because sometimes you do want to lock abilities for basic Pokemon such as Mew EX and Keldeo EX, so I can see why he actually did this. If we look in the deck list, we see he has 7 Pokemon, 53 trainers, and 0 energy. With the 7 Pokemon, he has 4 Wailord EX, which is basically the start of the deck, and 3 Suicune EX, which was mainly used to be countered against Primal Groudon EX and Virizion Genesect. We see the trainers, we have the 4 Cassius, 4 EZ, 4 Fan Club, 4 Team Fluttergrunts, 3 Yen, 3 Skyla, 2 Hughes, 2 Lysander, 1 Xerosic, 1 Shauna. This is easily the biggest supporter line I've ever seen in a deck. It runs a lot of supporters, and we see a lot of support heroes that are usually not played very often. And when you use all these supporter cards, it really just makes a powerful deck. And I really like how this guy approached when making his deck. In the item section, we have 4 Versus Seeker, 4 Max Potion, 4 Hard Charm, 3 Enhanced Hammer, 1 Trick Shovel, 1 Starling Megaphone, 1 Sacred Ash, and 1 Dowsing Machine. It's actually pretty standard for Destructive Death. And then we have the 6 Stadiums, 4 Rough Seas, and 2 Silent Lab. And of course we have 0 energy. So I just want to congratulate Enrique Avila for his 2nd place winning in Pokemon Nationals. And I just want to say that this deck is just awesome, and I really would recommend trying it out for yourself, especially if you're a newer player, because this is actually a pretty good deck to start with. You know, you're just focusing on one thing, and that's actually pretty easy to get hold of, and it's obviously very powerful. Anyway guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and see you guys next time.